All right, sixth grade, for your warm-up today, we are going to practice two different shading techniques. I call them color fades, and they are dark to light, where you gradually let off the pressure of your pencil to get a variety of values that go gradually, and then also what I call a circle fade. So a circle fade is just for an object that is cylindrical or curved in some nature. In this case, this is actually spherical, but the highlight is in the center, and then it gradually gets darker towards the outside. So the first one we're going to practice, we're actually going to do a practice separate from the strawberry here. So on the back, I can create a little box for myself. Okay, I could use a shape tracer if I have one at my table. Little rectangle or something will do, okay, for this. But before we get started, want to share with you just a little bit about hand sharpening the watercolor pencils. So we have 3 different types of watercolor pencils that'll be around at tables. So toward the end of the block, I just want you to put these by type. So if they are Crayola, you're going to put all the Crayolas together, Faber-Castell, all the Faber-Castells together, and then the Reeves, okay? These are all water soluble. So what that means is they dissolve in water. The watercolor pencil becomes paint through that water activation, okay? Because this is essentially dried paint, it's very important that you use the hand sharpener for these, okay, and not the electric sharpener. So you are going to do that over your black bin. I can't fit the black bin under my stand, but I'm basically sharpening this up prior to starting, okay, using the hand sharpener over the black bin is more than fine, okay, and these ones are all pre-sharpened. All right, so choose a color that is anything that's not, I would say, like yellow or white, obviously, and we're going to just practice the dark to light, okay? So I'm going to actually choose, I think I'll choose blue for this, or maybe I'll choose green. What the heck, we'll do green. And what I'm going to do is I am going to overlap my strokes, okay? So on the left-hand side, I am going to press really hard, and then I'm going to gradually let up the pressure as I go across. Okay, the goal is to not have gaps in your shading. The goal is not to have lines within your shading. You want it to go as gradually as possible. Okay, so I'm going to start by pressing really hard on the left-hand side. And you'll notice I'm overlapping my strokes. Okay, so I can't see the white of the paper. And then as I go across, I'm going to gradually let up to harder medium pressure. Towards the middle, I'm going to let up to medium pressure. Then lighter medium pressure. Then lighter pressure. Lightest pressure and off. Okay, so my lightest pressure is basically like the lightest grade I could possibly achieve. Okay, now I'm going to go over this one more time to just intensify this middle area here. I want it to be more of a medium pressure, so I'm going to press hard, let up to medium pressure, lighter medium pressure, and off. Okay, and all it did was bring in those middle values. Okay, so this is essentially shading with color. You could do this exact same exercise with graphite, with your regular graphite pencil. Okay, I'm going to set this aside for now. And on this side, I'm going to apply a dark to light in the background of my strawberry, and then we're also going to practice a circle fade. Okay, so in the background of my strawberry, I'm going to use just whatever color I feel like. Okay, and in this area behind the strawberry, I'm going to apply that same technique that I just did. Okay, now I'm going to turn my paper this way just because it's easier for me to go across. Okay, so I'm going to make the top of my paper the darkest. And as I go across, I'm going to let up to harder medium pressure. Hard part about this is I'm going behind my object. So on this side, harder medium pressure. And then as I go towards the middle of the background here, I'm going to let up to lighter pressure. So I'll do it on this side first. So lighter pressure. I'll bring it over this way. So again, I'm overlapping my strokes. And then as I continue towards the bottom section here, I'm gonna make sure I let up to my lightest pressure. Okay, so right here I have my lightest pressure. All right, and so I have something that looks like this. So this is pretty decent for my background. I'm gonna actually intensify this middle area and make it blend a little bit more seamlessly. So I'm gonna go over it one more time and just make sure I have that medium pressure. So the goal with this is you don't want scratchy, scribbly shading. You want your color fade to blend gradually. So I'm gonna let up to medium pressure in here. Here we go. Let off to lightest pressure. Okay, I kind of spaced out a little bit. All right, so this is kind of what I have for my background behind my strawberry. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. Now, the next thing I'm gonna use is the circle fade right here. So this is very similar to the dark to light. At a certain point though, I reverse the fade. Okay, so I'm gonna flip my paper halfway through, and I'm also gonna curve my strokes. So when we're shading in something that has a curve to it, we want to make sure that our strokes are also curved to show that illusion that this is actually a curved item, okay? So for this, I'm going to do dark to light. The lightest part of my strawberry is actually going to be right in the center, okay? So as I shade this in, I'm going to curve my strokes, and I'm going to press really hard. And I'm going to gradually let up the pressure to medium pressure with less of a curve. And then lightest pressure in the center. Okay, and off. So this is what I have so far for about half of it. So I curved my strokes. I went from dark to light, lightest being in the middle. So I'm going to go over that one more time just to bring in some of those medium range values right in here. Value is just a lightness or darkness of a color. Okay. So I have something that looks like this. At this point, it's always easiest for me to do the left-hand side of something. So I'm gonna flip my paper and do the exact same thing I just did. So I'm gonna be dark on this side, medium pressure here, lightest pressure in the middle, and I'm going to curve my strokes of my shading along with my strawberry. All right, so I'm curving this here, pressing the hardest. Letting up to medium pressure, curving a little less, letting up to lightest pressure in the middle, and I'm almost straight up and down in the middle with my strokes. And I'm actually gonna go over that one more time just for good luck. So hard, medium, just to bring back some of that medium. And remember, your light needs to be very, very light. Otherwise, it's not gonna look like it has a highlight at all. Okay, so this is what I have so far. Okay, last but not least, I'm gonna bring back my Gonna bring back my green. So with the green, you can of course color this in flat, it's up to you. I'm actually going to leave mine kind of lightest towards the middle. So these kind of outermost edges are going to be the darkest. So it's also going to be a little bit lighter on top. We'll pretend our light source is kind of coming from above. All right, so then when I have this, this is what this looks like. Okay, so it's a little bit lighter towards the top. And if I had more time, I would actually give this another coat and do a little bit more shading on here, but I think you get the point of it. So I use these techniques, the dark to light and the circle fade, okay, where my pressure let off gradually, okay, in order to create shading with color. So the goal is to let off your pressure gradually. You don't want to see lines separating your pressure. You don't want to see the white of the paper show through where you missed a spot. And so when we add these techniques to the strawberry, it makes it look like it has depth and dimension, okay? So think of our color fading techniques as just shading with color,